Howdy! Welcome to the video patch notes for version 18 of the Orville Interactive Fan Experience. It's been quite a little while since we've done one of these. This version's been in production for 3 years. We've spent the last year doing a public beta, so hopefully you joined us for that. Just a couple of notes before we get started into what has changed. This version is built on Unreal Engine 5.3. And that upgrade is going to drive an increase in the minimum system requirements. So please check on Steam to make sure that all of your hardware is still compatible. Our goal for this version was to provide a lot more interactive elements to the game so that the experience stands up to repeated play. We hope to see a lot of you in the game and in multiplayer sessions going forward. So we'll jump in here and we'll see what is new. I'm going to start us up on Earth, turn on our NPCs just for some fun. I'm going to start us off on the bridge. So we are still in early access, so you'll notice that there are still occasionally some bugs. Right off the bat, you'll see that we get a call for help reporting any bugs you find. So if you press F3, anytime you're in the game, it will bring up the in-game reporter, and you can use that to let us know what problems you encounter. There are a couple of known issues that are on the tracker. Please don't report those, as we're already aware of those. But if you run into anything, particularly game stopping or game breaking, falling out of the ship, that kind of thing, please do let us know, and we will be able to fix those in a future version. We have a lot of new features in this version. Like I said, we're trying to get this to stand up to repeated play, whether you're in multiplayer or in a solo game. So one of the first things you'll notice is that we've revamped some of the controls. So there's some additional controls here at the helm, which should help with single player mode, so that you can do a lot of things directly from the helm seat as you're flying the ship. One of the other things that we've added in here just to give some more variety in gameplay is within our session setting menu, we can spawn some enemy ships, and we've now added the ability to bring crewed destroyers on. So you have a couple different enemies that you can fight. I want to move over to Isaac's station on the bridge with a pretty significant change. So we now have the ability to do some long-range sensor scanning, and so we start off with seeing which locations exist within our library, most of them being in Earth's solar system. But we've now got the ability to zoom out here and see what is around us in space. And so we can either click on these, or we can use the controls down here to zoom in and out and go up and down on our list and select things as we go. So you can see that we've got a selector right there on Sol, and we can drill down a little bit and see some of the other locations. We can then zoom in and see what is in that system. This is the white dwarf star that doesn't have anything in the system, but if I go to, say, this Class M star, there are 3 different planets in this system. One of them is a rocky planet, and then it has some moons. So all of these are places that we can actually go now. So we'll show you how to do that in a second. Some of the stats of what you're looking at are over here. You'll notice that there is an option here for atmosphere, and so there are some planets that are within the habitable zone of their star that do have atmospheres, and that provides you an opportunity to go explore with a shuttle. So that's a new feature for version 18. What we're going to do for now is I'm going to come out, and we're going to pick one of these locations. I'm going to pick this Class K star right here. And here's a desert planet. And there's our first one that has an atmosphere. So we've got a plot course button here. There's another one down here on the panel. If I click that, that will lock in a course. And we can take the quantum drive, come over here to our quantum drive panel, and we scroll down our list, we'll see that there is now a sensor target added to our library. And that will be the desert planet that we chose. And if we hit engage, we will take off, and we will head to that planet. And I'll get us going while we look at some other stuff here. So as before with our power system, there are multiple power profiles. And if we choose a flight mode instead of an equalized mode before we engage quantum drive, it'll actually shorten our flight time. So we're already in flight, so that's not really going to help us. But we have some options here. Be real careful with adjusting these while you're in flight, because you can actually knock yourself out of quantum drive and cause some damage. With all the new features that we've got in this version, we have expanded our help. So under F1 for help, there's now a new help screen. And there are multiple tabs in here that talk about everything from how to move around the ship to how to use some of the new systems. So here's the page on exploration, which talks about using the long-range sensors to locate the targets like we just did. So you can flip through these. All of these have information in them. When you're done, you can just close that out. So we've arrived at our desert planet. Another new feature for this version is our mission system. So there's a comms panel over here at Talos Station on the bridge, and we can flip between things that are in our system. So here we could try to hail the planet. We're not going to get a response there because there's nobody home, but that's an option. We can turn on our ears and listen to the communication array and see if we receive anything. We're not picking anything up. Or we can hail Union Central, and if we hail Union Central is going to have a mission for us. So we can see we've got a pop-up here on the left that tells us that we have a phenomenon to study down in the astrophysics lab. And then once we've done that, we can adjust our core mix. So we've got a challenge to improve our quantum drive efficiency. So there's a couple of tasks here that we have to perform. So this is designed not only to give us some side quests that we can undertake if we choose to. These are all optional. You don't have to do these. But they give us an opportunity to interact with some new systems aboard the ship. So I'm going to actually flip to, I'm going to cancel this one. We don't have to take a mission if we don't want to. And so here's some additional options that you can do. There's one in particular I'm looking for, so I'm going to flip through a couple of these until I find them. Seem to be getting the same one over and over again. So here's one that involves quantum driving to a different system and then neutralizing the threats that are there. So if we were to head over here to the quantum drive, we now see that in addition to the sensor target, there's also a mission destination that has been added. If we were to go there, once we arrive, we're going to find ourselves confronted with some enemies, and we'll have to complete those. As these tasks are completed, the boxes, the little bullets, will be replaced by check marks, so we'll know we'll get it. The pop-up that we saw on the left-hand side will come back up with what the next task is that we need to perform. So this particular mission is a medical mission. It talks about going down and examining samples in our soil lab. So we're going to take a walk and we're going to go down and see what that looks like. So we do still have menu capabilities to jump around the ship, but really there's something to be said for exploring the ship. I'm going to make a quick detour down here on B deck in our stellar cartography, and you'll notice here that this now also displays the same sensor information based on where we are, and there's additional controls down here. So this is another way to kind of explore what's around and where you might want to go, and you can send stuff to the helm from here as well. So a number of capabilities. So we've added some mini games and as well as some lab devices. So we'll let you explore those. I'm going to head down to, we were headed to the soil lab, which is on H deck. So I'm going to head this way. Along the way here, this is a new thing. So replacing our very resource-intensive mini-map are these corridor directories, and you'll find these at on all levels of the main stairwell, as well as almost all major intersections throughout the ship. So they tell you what deck you're on and what things. And there's a map up there that shows you where you are, and it also tells you what's nearby that you can go see. So we were headed to the soil lab, which is near the botany bay. So I will head that way. So there's the botany bay. We can say hi to Grugan. He's on duty. But then we'll head next door to the soil lab. So this room's been here for a while, but now what we have is a new sensor capability. So we have a task to complete to analyze these soil samples. So you'll find sensor panels like this in most of the science labs and in areas of the ship. So these all work very similar. So we have to, it's just to begin, set up the sample. So we're going to set up our sample. And then we have 4 options here for which types of analysis we want to do. So we're going to use the particle size analyzer first. So we run our scan. And okay, so that didn't find anything, so we can do the next analysis. Nothing there. We'll do the next one. And we're looking for what the mission has sent us down here to find. So there we found it. So our viable candidate has been found, and now we have a new task, which is to go over to the botany bay and study our plant growth. So we will head next door. And our panel for this one is over here. And you'll notice very similar in its setup, but we're now going to run our tests, see if we can't find what's going on with this port planet. So all of these sensors are a little bit different. They're all themed for their labs. We found a compatibility on the second try, so we have now completed our mission. So if we were to head back up to the bridge, we will see that our mission is complete. We'll do that in just a second. Wanted to take you, since we're in the neighborhood, take you over here to the front of H deck. We're actually gonna head upstairs first. We're gonna take this lift and we're gonna go upstairs. We have a new space, and this is our aquatics lab. So, you know, back here is where a bunch of analysis is done. There are airlocks over here to take us near our tank, but we don't have the proper gear on, so we're not going to go in there. But what we will do is head over here to the main control room, and we are greeted with our cetacean ops. So there's our little buddy. This is also one of the labs that has a sensor, so you might be in here for various mission tasks. And in addition to up here, there is also a nice observation area back down here on H deck. This is a nice relaxing place to spend some time. And if you can pick up in the background there, new music. We've got a ton of new music from the very talented Patrick Phillips in this release, and we're really grateful for him sharing his talents with us to add such beautiful backdrop to the interactive fan experience. I'm going to jump us back to the bridge just so that we can see what the effect was of our mission. So, having completed our mission, we can come back and we can see that our actions have been checked. It says mission complete, and we can now resolve the mission. So what happens when we do that is that we have a Steam leaderboard, and you can see that it just popped up at the bottom of the screen that I've actually earned a achievement in Steam having completed that mission. So there's a leaderboard that shows how many missions you've completed, points that you earn, and there are achievements to be had for completing multiple missions. There are over a dozen unique missions, and you can play them over and over again. So lots of ways to interact around the ship. I'm going to take us back downstairs. We're actually going to go. We're going to go down to. Let's go down to D deck. So you're going to notice that the ship feels a lot more full in this version, and that has to do with the fact that we have built out the corridor system, and along with that is we have filled in our crew manifest. So there is a full complement of crew quarters. So you will find every variety of quarters that is available on the ship, from the regular officer quarters, like we see the hero quarters on the show, but also the Class D quarters, which is a new item that showed up in Andre Bermanis's book, The Guide to the Orville. And these are all decorated uniquely, so there are options that are chosen between. So have fun exploring. This is one of the Class D quarters, so a little bit smaller, but still complete with everything you would need if you were on board. And you can have some fun going around and checking out all the crew members' names. It is polite to ring the doorbell, so make sure you do that before you go in. But there's some Easter eggs among the crew manifest, including some prominent Orvillians from the interwebs. So our little homage and love letter to the fans. So hope you enjoy that. We're gonna head down little ways. I'm gonna take us down to quantum control. So this is a familiar space if you've been following along with us. But we've been evolving our damage and repair system, and starting with this version, there is work to be done for the engineers to repair the ship. So I'm going to add a little bit of damage here just to show you what's possible. Going to get a little messy around here. Let's see if I can get enough. No, I didn't get enough yet. A couple more. Maybe a little smoky. I still gotta go. Uh-oh, we just lost power. We're down to 5%. Okay, so we lost our power, which means I have to do some repairs. So I just hit the repair button, and now this panel has popped open. So we now have user serviceable parts inside many of our repair panels. So for this one, it's calling for a phase attenuator. So this one's pretty well fried. Happens to be one just sitting over here in the corner, but there are storage rooms around the ship that have spare parts in them. So you can go get a spare part, and you can press I to stick it in your inventory, and then you can come back to where your repair needs to take place, and you can press I and scroll to select that back out of your inventory. And then when you reinstall that into the panel, you get close with it, it will reinstall and the panel will close up, and now that system is repaired, and you can see that our damage has gone up to 12%. So not all of the repair stations have this, so there are multiple ones that do. Back here, you know, in quantum control, these are all repair elements. So I'll show you again. We got an injector in this one, so it's a different part. That one's pretty fried. I happen to have one over here just to get you started. And we slap that in there, and now we have repaired that panel. So pretty straightforward there. Now that we're back to, well, we have a power issue here, so we're gonna have to get our main power restored before we can do anything with this one, which means we actually need to go back downstairs. We're gonna head to engineering. Here's another one that's damaged. Let's fix this one over here. So this is a different part. That's a flow regulator. I don't have a flow regulator. There is one around here. So let's go check out one of the storage rooms here and see if I can find one. So here's a pallet of parts, and that happens to be a flow regulator. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to stick that in my inventory. We'll come back down here. And I know I don't need that one because it's all fried, so I'm going to pull the one out of my inventory. There it is. Get that one close. Gotta get down here. There it goes. Slides in there. And that panel is now repaired. Oh, our power came back up. So we came back up high enough to get out of our mode. One note that when it comes to repairing parts back in here, if you want to be able to get at that, you have to be able to turn off your quantum ring before you can open up those panels, because otherwise you're gonna have a real bad day. So make sure you turn them off, turn them back on. So that's the new damage and repair system. I'm gonna pop us I'm just gonna reset things here so that we have a little bit nicer operating conditions. And then I'm gonna send us down to the shuttle bay. Spent a lot of time on the shuttles in this version. We tried to have a new experience. I know a lot of people have wanted to be able to go in the shuttles and fly them properly. We'll meet you halfway on that. You can go in the shuttles. However, it's a little tight in here, so rather than have controls right on there, we're still going to have you officially board the shuttle with an F. But we've got a new game mechanic here. So I'm using right click to launch the shuttle, and once it's up I can fly it. So I can take it out manually if I like. And we're just going to take a quick trip over here. Oh, that's right, we're at the well, hey, let's check this out. So I mentioned that this planet has an atmosphere. So we can fly our way right on down. So space objects will have a range around them where you can right click to land, like an autopilot land, but you can also just fly right up to them, and at some point it will transfer you over to that space object, whether it's the inside of the shuttle bay or the Union Station shuttle bay, which is a new space for us in this version, or in this case a planetscape. So here I get the note that I can land, so I'm going to do that intentionally. And this takes me down into the atmosphere, and from here I have the ability to come over and pick a landing site. So you can see that the options in green, so those are different places that are suitable for the shuttle to land. So I can pick any one of those. I'll just pick this one because it's closest. And as I get close to that, it's going to give me a notice that I can auto land, and I can right click to land the shuttle. At this point, I can press F to leave the shuttle, and it takes me right outside, so I can go explore my alien landscape. So there are 3 different planetscapes, one for desert planets, one for terrestrial planets, and one for rocky planets. It only works on planets that actually have atmospheres. So there are desert planets and rocky planets that you cannot land on because they are not in the appropriate place relative to their star. So we put a little bit of astrophysics into the space system. So I'm just going to take back off. And from here, I mean, I'm just going to head for the sky. At some point I cross into the atmosphere and it takes me into space. From here now, once I'm in space, I have to locate my ship. Thankfully it's got a nice crosshairs on it. Shuttle flying is not my forte. Hey, we're upside down. Let's write that. Let's get right side up. Alright, there's a shuttle bay. And I can head back in. And now I can pick either one of my landing sites over here that I want to go to. I want to go to this one. So we were good kids on this trip. We did not damage the shuttle at all, but sometimes that's inevitable. You get into a little scrape. So we're back aboard. And we are back aboard the ship. So you notice we only have one shuttle up here. There are actually several others available. So we're going to demonstrate a new feature that we have for this, which is our shuttle storage and repair system. So there are a couple of different ways to access this. There are controls that are upstairs in the control room, and we'll go up and check those out. But there's also a really handy one that's on the session settings menu. So this would be in single player, you'll be able to access this, or in multiplayer, the server host would be able to access this. But under shuttle actions, we can send the shuttle to storage. And what's going to happen is the lift is going to drop, and it's going to head back and go park the shuttle. And we will go down and check that out. And then it's going to send that thing right back up. So that's a fully automated system for parking, and then there's also an option to retrieve a shuttle. So we can do that too. That would be under shuttle actions, call for shuttle from storage. And if there's already something on this pad and I call for one, it'll put it on the other pad. So it's pretty flexible. You do have to be really careful where you stand when this happens, because it does hurt if those shuttles run into you, and that makes for a bad day. So you got a glimpse of the shuttle storage bay, but we're going to head down there. So just outside of the shuttle bay is a dedicated lift. We've simplified the lifts in this version. Previously we had an awful lot of lifts and redundant lifts. What you're going to find now is there's a main forward lift that services the whole ship. In the aft there is a lift that does the top set of decks, and then there are side lifts that do the bottom decks. But those are pretty much go straight up and down. So welcome to the shuttle storage and maintenance bay. So here you can see those are the lifts that the staging bay going up below. That's below the shuttle bay, so that takes us right up there. Down here is where we parked our shuttles. So you can see we've got spares. There's also on the other half here is where we do repairs. So there's a shuttle staged there right now, but we have the ability to move these around if we choose. So this set of controls you'll also find upstairs in the shuttle bay control. So this left-hand one controls the staging bay and raises and lowers, and you can only have one up or down at a time. So typically 1 or 2. 3 does work, but 3 is designed for the Pterodon fighter, and we don't have those in this version. That's something that we hope to add in the future. But you can see that that one actually does work. So once we have shuttles down here, we can also move them around. So here we have, it shows you what's in the repair bay, which is shuttle 4. It'll also, here we can choose our 4 parking spots. So those are labeled. So you can see there's beta. And if I were to click on beta, it will tell me that there's already a shuttle there. But I'm gonna pick alpha because there's nothing there. And I've got repair, and I can move that shuttle out of the repair bay and park it over here. A little jittery, but pretty good shape. Or I can put it back. If I had the bay lowered, I could send this up to the bay. Actually, let's do that. So I'm gonna take bay. So bay 1 has a shuttle on it, so I'm gonna take bay 2 and I'm gonna lower that one down. And we'll take the shuttle from the beta parking spot. And here I'm gonna use the transfer button to send that over. It's going to put it right on the pad, and then I can raise that back up. Up she goes. So I'm going to put our alpha shuttle back in the repair bay because it actually needs some repair, and we'll head down here to the end. So this is our shuttle repair station. So you probably recognize the format here, but in order to repair a shuttle, we first have to scan it. So we can calibrate our sensors. And we can run through our scans. And when we complete our scans, then this red repair button will turn green and we'll be able to repair our shuttle. Because right now it's only at 75%. And one more. So you can use this for just general repair, but it also comes into play with the mission system. So all of these scanners you can use inside or outside of the mission system. But so now I can repair my shuttle since I know what's wrong with it, having done the scan. And the repair is complete, and now my shuttle is at 100% and ready to use again. We're gonna head out of here. We will go, we're gonna go back up. I'm gonna head down. Just gonna go up a level. One more thing I want to show you, just because it's a cool new place. Let's see what I'm doing. No, not that one. Other side. So throughout the ship, you'll also find environmental control stations. So these will play a greater role in the future, but right now it's just a little indication of how the ship functions, right? How we keep things moving. I haven't got into everything. There are some Easter eggs, a couple of Easter eggs in engineering that you'll encounter. You can do some fun stuff with power modes. The ship responds better to power than it ever did, including low power and even no power modes. There's we've improved the mini games so they're easier to use. We've revised the success criteria for the Halloween event. So if you are unlucky enough to find yourself at Turos Gold, then and you have to survive your encounter with the clown, we have improved that system a little bit to make it a little bit easier with all the repair that we have. I think that's most of all the new stuff, but you're going to explore and find more. As I mentioned, should you encounter any bugs, please let us know through the in-game report, and we will address those for a future release. Thanks for staying with us. I hope you enjoy it, and we will see you out there.